was it easy for you guys to start a business in Australia?
No.
How was it then?
I'm actually going to say yes. I'm going to say it's hard to keep it going.
I don't think there's a better country in terms of infrastructure to be able to go set up a business, file your taxes, automate everything and do that than Australia, but it doesn't make it any less difficult.
People say Australia is a developed country. In a sense it is, but I feel it is a developing country.
They have that poor puppy syndrome thing.
Yes.
And we try showing them like, you're holding yourself back for no reason. And they're like, no, we can't do that. That's too fast. That's too risky. I've been told in my face, you're not from here. What do you know about this market? Australia is the first country where I experienced racism.
My mantra is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Take every single shot. Even if you know it's not going to work, you'll learn.
Can you explain what imposter syndrome is?
So if you're in a room full of amazing people, you just feel like you're being an imposter, that you shouldn't be there. Or if you're doing something amazing, or you get an amazing award, or you make a certain amount of money and you don't think you should really be getting it, that's you having imposter syndrome.
Welcome to another episode of Australia Unfiltered, where we have candid and insightful conversations with people living in Australia. This series is powered by Anchor Cookie Co, and we want to give a special thanks to Aussies Group for this amazing podcast space. Now, let's dive into today's topic, starting a business in Australia. We have Simran and Arjun with us today. Hey, welcome. Hi. Arj is the founder and CEO of Inam, an Australian impact investing fintech, portfolio manager at KPMG High Growth, and a board member of the Iceberg Foundation. Welcome, Arjun. Simran and Sim is the founder of Concept Education, Stella AI, and Melanin Media. She's also worked at some of the biggest firms like KPMG, EY, IBM, and the list goes on. It's so good to have you today at Australia Unfiltered. Thanks, guys. Yeah. It feels like I'm in like some South Asian heritage or legacy, legendary people building their businesses in Australia.
No, we're the ones in very special presence.
Oh, guys, you're just really sweet. But reading what all you have done, what you're doing, it's just amazing. Like, what made you start your own business?
I think for me, I was always raised around people that started their own thing. And although I loved working for other people, it brought me a lot more value to create something that I could see from start to finish. Even if it didn't work, it was something that was a lot more satisfying than doing something for someone else.
I agree.
Although doing things for other people can be amazing and there can be lots of value there, I think for me and my personality, it was just something where I wanted to go and do, make an impact myself, similar to what Arj does as well. Like, there's just a lot of output that we get and a lot of value that we get that makes us still want to work for maybe a lot less money at times and a lot more bad days at times. But it gives us just level of satisfaction.
Yep, agreed. And you have some brilliant businesses already running and you're working on a new, it's relatively new Melanin Media compared to your other ones,
sure.
Right? How's that one going?
Melanin Media?
Yeah.
Good. It's one of those playful projects. I was just telling Arj earlier that it's something that is a passion project.
Okay.
Sometimes very tricky to turn a passion project into a business.
Also, in some of the most beautiful businesses in the world are born.
For sure.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people do the boring businesses to make money and then go and do their passion. But I wanted to start with my passion, and from a young age, and try and make an impact, and doing something where we speak about South Asians, doing something where we speak about, immigrants or people that are underrepresented, especially in ANZ or in Australia, is a space that I think has got a lot of value in terms of, letting people know what we're going through.
Yeah.
Anything that we've learned.
It's good to resonate with, there's someone similar to you, and that creates like a factor of resonance and belonging. Yep. And then coming to you, Arj, what made you start your business?
Firstly, that's beautiful, and I'm glad that you've taken that approach to what you build. Mine's a bit of one of those old school, deep lived experience situations. Trigger warning for the eye washing. My father was one of South Africa's leading entrepreneurs in pharmaceuticals, set up shop in an entirely new country when the apartheid regime was abolished. Did incredibly well for himself. My mom and dad ran the business together, and that's what I grew up around, not too dissimilar to yourself. And whilst he was great at business, he set this up at a time when Dabur and Himalaya weren't even a thing. Wasn't the best at managing his own personal finances and got taken advantage of. Got to the point where he lost his entire life savings and 5 years later lost his life. That's just hundreds of millions. And 5 years later, being in that position, I now found myself in the same place. I didn't know how, where to invest my money. I had to take care of mom. And the only thing running through my head was that no matter what I do in life, no matter what skills I garner, I've had in no means a linear career. It's been eclectic to say the least. But every step I take needs to ensure that no other family goes through what we went through ever again. And that's really where Inan came from the sheer depths of suffering and ensuring that no one else would ever have to go through that pain ever again is what made me start it and what keeps me going every day. There are days where I don't want to, and I'm very difficult, but knowing your why deep down and why it started, it's incredibly important to keep going and trying to do the best for society in the process.
That's beautiful motivation and the goal that you have. Both of y'all are very impact driven, I would say that.
I think most South Asian entrepreneurs are.
Is it a South Asian trait that you're saying? That you feel? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think touching on what Arj has just said about, coming back from the way that you're brought up, the classic content that you might see on social media is, scarcity mindset, where we're all brought up in a space where we feel like our parents were in survival mode. Mm. And so there's an element of us always wanting to not feel that we can't do something. We want to feel free. We want to be able to have the freedom to make choices and not live in that same way.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably one of the most important fuel aspects to, drive us to make something different, because a lot of us have seen our parents not have privilege. And so it pushes you.
Yeah. I think that to that point of privilege as well, South Africa was probably one of the world's most recent democracies. It was a racist regime of apartheid until 1994. I still remember school I went to. I was the only brown person. In the neighborhood I lived in, my parents were the first brown people to ever set foot in that neighborhood. And despite all of that, they went and did the things they did. And as South Asians, like Sam said, that's just sadly been a reality for various systemic and non-systemic reasons for all of us, for our families, for our siblings, for our friends, and wanting to work above that, not only for ourselves, but for those around us, is, I guess, what keeps us going.
Yep.
And yes, at the end of the day, money makes the world go around. We've got to find ways to pay the bills, but in doing so, we also break down centuries of systems, of ways that have been, and we're like, why is this being done this way? No, we can do it better. We'll break it down and we'll find a better way to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how I know. And all three of your amazing startups started. I believe so.
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
Mara and Murthy, who's the founder of Infosys, started it with a loan from his wife. And his wife was his co-founder at Infosys.
That's amazing.
Coding day in and day out with him. If she didn't back him and step the business, Infosys wouldn't exist. Infosys currently runs the world.
Yes, it does.
Go brown with it.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. I'm being selfish and being biased, but it's amazing to see your community go ahead. Well, I want others also to go ahead, but for me, it's a sense of feeling, and it makes me feel that I can also be there because someone like me is there. So it's great to see people like you guys doing things. So I know that I can also somewhere do something, and I won't be looked down upon.
You're already doing it.
Thanks.
You're motivating me.
Oh,
right now, I'm motivated right now, watching her kill it right there.
Look at this word. Hello, you, bro.
Thanks, guys. They're like the best cheerleaders, I would say. But anyway, getting back to the topic, was it easy for you guys to start a business in Australia?
No.
How was it then?
I'm actually going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's hard to keep it going. I think it's easy to start one. I think anyone can go to ASIC. Anyone can go, register a domain, have an idea. You can start something, but carrying it through, getting the support, maintaining it, letting it live.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Were you born yet?
Yes.
Okay. So there are two things, and I respect that. I totally agree. It is not difficult to start one. Keeping it going is important.
Yeah.
But if you add on the layer of migration and being a migrant in this country to then start a business. There are other various things you need to break through. There are, what they call it, the glass ceiling, but it's got another layer on it.
I'm so bad with analogies.
It's like a tinted glass ceiling because it's got the extra bulletproof coating.
Yeah,
It's there are just additional layers that go through, whether it's sorting out a visa, whether it's if you are a director in a company and you're an Australian citizen to be a co-director with you as well.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Some instances you get away with it, but at most instances you do need an Australian director on your company as well. Fundraising. You never grew up here. You would have to go speak to venture capitalists, to institutional investors, to angel investors, to high net worth families.
But that would be the same for you as...
It's the same process for everyone, but building that from scratch by coming to a new country and understanding the rules and regulations and then abiding by them and then finding other things to break. It's not easy, but as founders, we always seem to say, how hard can it be until we actually do it?
Yeah.
And then we realize, oh, damn, it's actually very hard. So there are lots of layers of, there is ability to do things. I don't think there's a better country in terms of infrastructure to be able to go set up a business, file your taxes, automate everything and do that than Australia. But it doesn't make it any less difficult, especially if you're not from there.
Yeah, true. You guys said like ASIC and file your taxes and all of these things. I'm a new founder and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, where did you learn all of these things? How did you come across it?
It's self-taught, really.
Learn by doing.
Yeah.
Literally, things like I Googled.
Learn as you go.
How do you start a company? And then it was like, okay, cool. What? Then I realized, you need to get a business name that's separate to the company. And then you need to go on the ABN and get a business name registered to your ABN.
Yep.
And you learn it's good to have help, but sometimes you don't. You've got to help yourself.
Yeah, true. And also just going back a little bit on your point, like even I'm an immigrant here, starting a business when you're on a visa is a little like it's like a wall blocking you. There is a door that you can open, but you don't have the key yet. It's kind of that situation. I am doing Humans of Australia because I want a permanent residency. So I'm not worried that I'll be chucked out of this country. But if I wasn't, I would be doing a job 100%. That stops me because I need a visa to stay here. And that would only be possible if I'm working for someone and if they would sponsor me in case my permanent residency doesn't happen. And in case I start a business, and I'm chucked out of this country, it's a whole waste of time, effort, and money because I started and the foundation is built here. But what if it's not transferable? So that is one drawback of a visa holder, is what I would say.
So on that, there are ways for business owners to country.
But it's not easy. And then if your business grows big, then it's not.
But that's what I was getting on. The barriers are secure $250K worth of capital from a VC.
Well, it's like trying to get an O1 visa and go to America.
Yeah.
You need to be published in articles and, it's
$5 million in an asset. Yeah. These are not barriers everyone can cross.
Yeah, true. It's not easy.
But at times you don't even know what they are until you try to find them.
Yeah, true. Did you have mentors or you're just self-taught?
Yeah, my parents are pretty good at what they do. So they've been running a media business since I was born for the last 25 years. So they've been my biggest mentors. I watch them, learn from them, learn how to carry myself, talk, learn that I want to work for myself from them. It's pretty, again, back to the way that you're brought up. I think your environment's got a massive thing, a massive part to play. And apart from that, I've just happened to surround myself with people, they're saying that those 5 people around you are what you become.
Yeah, true.
And I'm surrounded by some pretty exceptional people that are all much smarter than me, are much more capable than me. And in all sorts of ways, not just business, emotionally, maturity, that's the intellect, everything. Yeah. And I just am constantly in awe of people around me, including my partner, my sister, my best friends, like everyone, yourself, like everyone's always so exceptional.
Yep.
And brings a new light. You automatically just push yourself and learn more.
Yeah, but that's how you should do it. If you're with people who are dumber than you, you don't learn and you don't progress. That's what I believe. Like when I meet these days that I'm meeting so many founders and I'm like, damn, like what the hell are they doing? Like, there's so much to learn. Like, it's
how we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. I guess I think it often goes both ways. It's never a matter of someone's less than. You can give to someone as well. But as long as you're uncomfortable wherever you are, whichever room you're in, that you feel like, oh my God, why am I even in this room? That's where growth comes from. And it just helps you propel yourself forward. And to the point of mentors, I don't think any of us would ever get to anywhere without the right guidance, without the right tribe.
I agree.
Some people backing us. People make these stories of self-made individuals. That's a fantasy. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we put in the effort. But there are so many people backing us, so many people behind us in various ways.
Completely agree.
And I think one of the biggest drivers for me was actually the course I did. I did a master's in entrepreneurship from the Wayne Institute, and that just got me thinking different. And mentors from there, mentors from my previous life in South Africa, in India, my mother. Without people who have been there and done that, people who are trying to do the same thing you're trying to do, or have done the thing you are trying to get to, guiding you, you can't. Nothing can be accomplished alone in the world.
Yeah, true. How did you guys find these mentors? That you're talking about people backing you, or what was the mindset to realizing? Because what I've realized since the past 6 years that I've been in Australia, I made friends. And then with time, we've grown apart. And initially, I used to feel bad. I'm like, shit, I'm losing our friends. I'm so lonely. But then I've realized I don't need them in my life. They're like a waste of time, effort, and everything. So it's not easy to realize those things. Sometimes you're stuck with people, be it friends, mentors, employees, workplaces. What was your mindset, or how did you also find the right mentors for yourselves?
I think in terms of mentors, when you look at corporate, and I think both Arjun and I can talk to the fact that space, you have traditional mentors where you need to actually lock onto people.
What is traditional mentors?
So at least from my experience, you might connect with a certain director or a certain partner in a firm, and that, you really get along. They see a lot in you, and they guide you and they help lift you through a business or through a structure, or they support you or put a good word in for you, etc. I had that across all companies that I worked at.
Wow. I had shit managers.
Managers weren't good all the time, but you can sometimes find good mentors. Yeah, managers are really tricky. But then when you come into your own world and you're doing your own thing, a lot of people want to see you fail, right? A lot of people don't like it when also young people who look like us potentially want to try to do something. And more often than not, those initial conversations will more be trying to scope you out than actually want to help you.
Yeah.
There are countless conversations that I've had where I've been promised introduction support. It's never happened. Whereas when I have a conversation with someone that might need my help, I'm always ready for a coffee, anything I can share, right? To elevate. And that probably fuels one of my businesses, Melanin Media, because there's so much competition. Most people don't realize there's so much space. There's so much space to take up, right? Australia is one of those untapped markets.
Yeah.
We're behind the UK, America, the UAE in so many ways.
I agree.
In terms of business infrastructure, creativity, creation, tech, everything. That if we wanted to be louder, if all three of us wanted to be louder right now with a very similar business idea, there's space for all three.
People, I agree. But people, sometimes misunderstand and they're like, oh, they're taking our space away. It's not their country. And that's so stupid, because I was talking to someone the other day and that person's like, people say that, Indians or South Asians or other people, immigrants come here and they take up the jobs that are for Australians. But then you don't realize that we take away jobs. We also get businesses and create so many more jobs, which wouldn't be possible without immigration.
Also a factor of skill sets. Those jobs wouldn't exist if those skills existed on a shore.
Yeah.
It's logic.
Yeah.
It's also propaganda, which just doesn't do anyone justice, because there are those who have skills that are willing to contribute to an economy and move it forward, bring those skills forward and bring others forward, which then get told, oh, you're taking our jobs. Okay, well then do you have the skills to do them yourself? Yes or no? And if it's a no, then don't complain. And if it's a yes, then go get the job.
Yeah, true. that's the straight answer.
South Africa and the US and the UK, it's just, we need to grow up from the narratives of politics and geopolitics and things that don't serve bringing everyone forward
Yep.
and actually supporting everyone in a community to rise up.
Yep. True. On that, as South Asians in Australia, did y'all face any cultural barriers? What were they?
Heaps.
Heaps. Like what? And then how did you overcome them? Why I'm asking is because I think it's important. People don't realize that these are actually barriers. They're like, it's fine. This is how we're supposed to be treated. But there are ways to overcome even these barriers. So that's why I want to ask you guys, what were the barriers? I'll give you an example. For example, I spoke to this one other guy. He is in an accelerator program at a very big university. And he was the only brown person of that cohort. So he was like the first day he went for it. Not a single person spoke to him. Just because he was brown. Like, he's not a native brown. He's born and brought up in the US, and then he just came here for his education. And he's like, I felt like not going there again, and it just triggered him. But then he kept on going, and then he broke it because he was like, he believed in his idea. And now his thing is doing wonderful. Like, different universities want it. So he's proven them wrong, but that's what happened at his first instance. And that is just so bad, just because he was the only brown person. No one spoke to him.
I think there are two sides to this. And it is a mindset shift of victims to victors, and that's probably the direction we all should be heading in. The challenges exist. They always will. Most of them are systemic. This is a Commonwealth country. Let's not kid ourselves. Some of them are non-systemic, driven by the way the economy has been brought up. We have an oligopolistic economy in
What
Australia.
does that mean?
We have three major grocers: Woolies, Aldi, and Coles. We have four big banks: Commonwealth, NAB, Westpac, ASIC. We have three big insurers, three big telecom companies. When you have very few people that control the majority of the market, it's not like a monopoly. Oligopoly is where there's just a few control everything.
Oligopoly?
Oligopoly. It's like oli and then gopoly.
Gopoly. Oligopoly.
Yes.
I forget it in the next 2 words.
No, so what I'm saying is that challenge exists, but I come from the startup world, and what's happened is the investment ecosystem has replicated that in the space, which creates more barriers. But if we switch that mentality from, okay, yes, we get there are issues. Yes, we had problems, we have the victims. But if we change that to, no, we're actually victors because we're pushing through. We don't care. We're still going to do it. I've been told in my face, you're not from here. What do you know about this market? When I've gone to try to raise money for that. Australia is the first country where I experienced racism. I was walking down the street one night and I was shouted at, you Indian dog. I grew up in South Africa. I've never been racially abused or called out in that country because we know what it's like. We understand what's, so yes, there have been cultural barriers and they're not going to go away. Imagining a world where they'll go away is not the way to look at it. Finding a way to deal with them, rise above it and empower others to rise above it is what we can do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel horrible for that Brad that he mentioned, but he can also see it as, I'm the only brown guy here. I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them how valuable I am, how much more I can bring to the table, what culture I can bring to the table.
Yep.
We have a very rich culture as South Asian people. We're ingrained with treating our elders with respect. We're ingrained with carrying ourselves in a way that does good for those around us.
Yep. You know what? Saying all of this, it reminds me of an amazing quote that this beautiful South Asian woman said. Yes. Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potato. Yes. So there it is.
Yeah.
Do you know who said
I don't want you to tell me who said this.
Priyanka Chopra.
Right. Okay. Well, she had a huge crush on that, right? I just think every brown boy did.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, I did too. Like, I yet have a crush on her. Like, I feel she's aging like wine. But getting back to businesses, what are your thoughts?
From the way, that we walk and talk and look, we're always going to face things. I think that's just completely natural. And it's something that, as I've mentioned it so many times now, Australia's still got a lot of growth to do. A lot of the time we think that we're quite forward thinking and that we're amazing as a country, but there is a lot of racism that still exists. And I think that the first step is actually just acknowledging, we got work to do. Yeah, we do. And, I've got countless experiences where when I got offered a role with all 4 accounting firms when I graduated university, and one of my closest friends, who was not South Asian, and was obviously not very happy that I'd gotten these positions and he didn't, said, well, they need diversity hires.
Jesus Christ.
People are just jealous that you got it and
It's fucking good at what I do.
Yeah. And you know what? And they go, well, because you're brown, you're a woman, they've got a quota to fill.
oh my God, some people play this woman card. They're like, oh, you got it because you're a woman.
And look, to be honest, these companies do have a quota to fill. They do. But that type of commentary, that type of energy out there when people do push, bust their balls to get a role like that, it's not on.
Yeah,
That's not on. So that's only the first layer. When I heard that comment in high school, in uni, coming out of uni, second year or something like that, I really believed it. I was like, damn, they must have. Like, why would I have gotten it? Maybe they are just looking for a quota. And that type of stuff, it really makes you question your own ability. And looking back, I definitely got that on my own merit.
Yeah.
Right? But you had me believing otherwise because of the way that people spoke about it.
Diminishing others.
Yeah,
By virtue
not at all.
of they come from.
humans are stupid, I feel at times.
Yeah. And
You gotta find your people.
yeah, you do. And, there are other, I can give you another example of when I was, I recently actually just made a TikTok about this when I was at one of the roles, and I won't say which one, and one of my managers, who was a middle-aged white man,
Yeah.
when he first met me, and I remember in the interview, I had my camera on, I was speaking, I was presentable, and I just remember him looking at me and him saying, you've got a really good Australian accent.
Oh,
get
my
fucked.
God, are you serious?
Right.
I'll tell you something. This reminded me. But what was your reaction?
Say,
Well, I was like,
I'm Australian.
I was like, huh? I'm born and raised here. And he's like, yeah, but you talk great and you've got a great accent and you
What does he mean then?
And honestly, I only really digested that was a very, very,
Pathetic.
that was a low level of, I don't know if it's even low level, but it's that first frontier.
It is.
Where they judge you on the way that you sound and you look. And I
I
had
don't
that.
even know that that's a problem.
And
the fucking
they're-
problem.
And yeah, so see, but when I was young, a couple of years ago, maybe this was 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
We're not also taught what is okay and what's not okay.
Yeah.
Because a lot is normalized.
Agreed.
And a lot is normalized.
Yeah.
My sister, who's 13, says to me, people make fun of Indian accents all over TikTok.
You know what?
Why is it so normal? People make fun of me. Like, should I make fun of myself? And I said, no, babe. Like,
Yeah.
that is not normal.
That is not normal. So that that reminds me of a thing that happened with me at one of my workplaces. Again, I'm not going to name it. So I do have a little bit of an Indian. I am Indian, so I will have an Indian accent. So there was this manager of mine. It had been 8 months since I was working with him, and my name is Sarah, not Sarah. So after 8 months, he should know my name is not Sarah. So he called me Sarah, and I was like, "It is Sarah." So he repeated that thing, and he's a white Australian man. He repeated that thing in an Indian accent. He like, "It is
I remember
Sarah."
you telling me this, and I
Yeah.
was shocked. I'm still shocked by this.
At that time, I let go of it. I didn't realize that it was racism. I was racist because I was like, okay, it's fine, like whatever.
That's the thing, right? We don't know sometimes, and you think, okay, maybe they're just not aware that it's wrong. Maybe they're not educated in the fact that it's wrong.
I don't know all the training for that.
You know what? And now, whenever you have something like that happens, I'm sure to both of us now, we're a lot quicker to go,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, excuse you.
yeah, true.
If I looked different, what would be holding you back right now?
Yeah,
And then they can't answer it, and you've called them out on the spot, and that's that. That's the end of the conversation. Don't need them in real life. Walk
Yeah.
out.
true.
But yeah, apart from those barriers where you have that initial look, I think there's always going to be growth in this country for a while of us feeling like we've got, of other people giving us the warmth of right to be able to exist and do business here and do things as comfortably as
Agreed.
others.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's also fine because it makes us more resilient. But the more resilience we build, and I hate this word, I hate it because everyone keeps saying, resilient. I'm like, I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but the fact of the matter is the more resilient you are, the more you start focusing on the work, on driving the outcomes and getting the job done.
Yeah,
Everything else falls away.
yeah,
which helps then drive the rest of the narrative forward of supporting people.
Yeah, true. Agreed. And the point that Simran, that you said that there's so much opportunity, like things that are not there. I always tell people this, maybe people might disagree. People say Australia is a developed country. In a sense it is, but I feel it is a developing country because so many businesses that are done in India, Europe, or US, they're just starting to come here. Like, for example, the Amazon one-day delivery just came here. And it's been everywhere around the world for years. So I feel it is a developing country. That's why there's opportunity, and there's so much opportunity. Like my business or your business, these are done and dusted at places like US ages ago, is what I would say.
I think that's what's beautiful.
Yeah.
This country called, they have that tall poppy syndrome thing.
Yes.
It's they're holding themselves back.
Yeah.
And then we come and we try showing them like, you're holding yourself back for no reason whatsoever. They're like, no, we can't do that. That's too fast. That's too risky.
We're also far away.
Very.
Yeah. Right. So that isolates us a little bit. Australia and New Zealand, we're situated in a way that it's not an excuse for not being integrated, but we don't have the same access to just fly to London and just go to America and just, have meetings and, go and interact in those environments. We are a little bit far. That's always put us a little bit, a tiny bit detached from the rest of the world, in my opinion.
It takes a while for things to get here as well.
But it's like years. It's a little too much.
There's also, Australia does a great job at protecting its economy through its very conservative.
I agree.
Yeah.
It has the world's most onerous financial regulations, but that also means it has one of the highest wealth per capita amount on planet.
Sorry, I didn't understand anything.
Sorry. Because of how conservative the regulations are here, the general population is also one of the wealthiest in the world because their super is protected. Their financial decisions are very regulated in what they can and can't do.
Okay.
But Australia has it. Those things that hold Australia back also keep it very protected and very secure.
It's a great country.
Yeah.
It is a great country, but again, when you said all of these things, it's there to protect the people. But as a business, when I came across this reel where someone was interviewing a cafe owner, and with the increased pricing for labor and goods as well that are used at a cafe, the cost of coffee has increased and it's become 5.5 now. So he's like, he only makes 50 cents off it, nothing more, because rest all goes with operation salary, increased salary, and all of those things. So I feel it also holds you back as a business owner. A friend of mine opened his cafe and he had to shut it down after a while because of just the cost, the labor cost, the operations cost was way too much.
Yes. It's expensive.
It is super expensive. People don't get paid more is what I've realized, at least right now. I have a lot of friends who have been made redundant and all who are switching jobs or looking for jobs. They're not getting paid more. In fact, they have to readjust maybe what they are at right now, or maybe just lower. But people are not getting, I've not heard of people getting paid. They're like, oh, you know what? I got an amazing salary package. That's a very minimal, the amount of effort or the amount of time or whatever they're putting in compared to what they're getting paid is way lesser.
I think the cost of living and inflation conversation comes in.
So the circle is not completing itself.
Which is just something that makes up.
Yeah.
It's shit.
Yeah. Sim, do you have anything to add or say?
No, not really. I think, as you both said, everyone's going through a tough time as the whole country readjusts to COVID. You can go into a whole financial conversation about Australia. Kind of. We put so much money into keeping it afloat that now we're in a lot of debt.
Yeah.
And now you got HECS flying through the roof, which affects us a lot. People our age. My tax return for the first time in a long time, I'm paying a lot of cash on HECS. And so is a lot of people that I know, because there's so much that Australia's got to do to make back the money that it's done to keep us afloat. And it's a circle, it's a spin wheel, I actually don't know too much about it, so I can't comment too much, but I do know that there's definitely things that are leveling out right now.
Yeah. So as a business owner, Does it get really expensive for you, when it comes to getting people on your team or spending on things, because Australia is expensive and the cost of living and everything is expensive. Is it expensive?
Human resources, 100%.
It's so difficult. Most people try, and we made a case to not outsource things. Big corporates do this as well, which is why a lot of redundancies have happened. They outsource to other parts of Southeast Asia. But that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah.
Other, than drive profits up to get into profits that they should rather not be going into. But you've got to, as founders, sadly, we've got to get very creative because it is so expensive in getting people on our teams, in working with people, and finding ways to pay them.
Yeah, I think I can speak because I've worked in education for a couple of years now. Even the education sector. Teachers that have done consulting for me and, HSC markers because I specialize in New South Wales, the rates have gone. They're flying through the roof.
Yeah.
Private tuition, both for, English language tests for immigrants coming in and for high school education and for primary education. There are premium prices right now.
Yep.
Right. The, school payments, private schools, selective schools in Australia's infrastructure, they are through the roof. Right? They're not going down. They're only going up. Yeah. So there's so much there that I think is going to continually increase how much we have to pay to stay afloat in terms of providing services in this space because the cost of resources is only going up. It's just continually going up.
And there's compliance on top of that, and even knowing, sometimes it's hard to even know what costs you're going to incur in your business unless you've got advisors in place. Like, okay, if you're starting a business, you've got to file your taxes. You've got to do...
When you talk about these details, I'm like, shit, what is he talking? I need to learn more.
And so, this is years of not knowing it myself. The amount of times I've failed and fallen on my face, not knowing what I don't know is how all of this comes about. But again, it all comes from, you won't know until you start. But it is expensive. It keeps getting more expensive. And that will only go away if we start allocating money to more people doing great things that can help support others. Because right now, the way money goes to places or investments are channeled is people channel their money to where they think it will make more money or where they think it can be used. But the people who are actually solving problems that can generate money for others, that know how to solve those problems, aren't getting the money they need to go solve those problems, which is further making it so much harder for founders, for gig economy workers, for everyone to make ends meet.
Yep, true.
And there's so much, again, and the HECS thing, I won't be able to relate because I'm not a citizen. It's not something I have access to. The Centrelink stuff, I can't resonate with that. But as a migrant, there's still, I think whatever goes there would have gone into migration fees or trying to find a way to even stay in the country.
Yep.
That is, and it doesn't get any cheaper. It's like, I think most student visas are required to spend a certain amount to secure the ability to continue staying in the country. And then if you even want a business visa, you've got to pay yourself a high threshold salary, which you can't pay unless you secure investment. There are things getting expensive makes it harder, but then it also helps people find creative solutions to come across that. The challenge becomes so hard that there's a very thin line between creativity and doing something wrong. And that's where you've got to really be able to be careful.
That's kind of interesting. What did you want to say before?
I just wanted to say that on the positive side, right, of all of the rising costs, the fact is that we're able to support people to deal with inflation.
Yeah.
So even though, we can complain a lot about everything becoming harder as business owners or whatever we do in all aspects, we are also increasing pay rates and supporting people to deal with inflation because it's very expensive to live, to just live here, right? And exist. And, we're going out a lot more. We're, trying to do, grocery shopping that's more effective, et cetera, travel, whatever it may be. We can't, my staff can't stay on the same rate. Like that they were on 2 years ago. That's not fair. That's not fair. So I'm more than happy to tweak things, whether we become less profitable or we figure out a way to make more money or whatever push we need to do to also give them the right outcome. And that's just the way you got to be.
Yeah, that's a great way as a founder. That means you're a great founder that you want them to grow as well. Some people just keep them, they're like, oh, we don't have money, stay there. So it's a great way that you want your teammates to also grow and earn more money with the going times. And then Arjun mentioned about investment. Have you guys picked up investment or helped anyone get investment?
Yep. Well, my companies are fully bootstrapped. I've invested in other companies, but I've never gotten investment for myself.
Oh, then what is an advice that you would like to give just any startup? Because you're an investor, you've helped. What is an advice that you'd like to give to startups who want to get investment, or how do they go about it?
I've raised. I'm always raising. I've raised, and I also help founders raise. There are a few things that you've got to get right in terms of preparing for your business. Defining what kind of capital you actually need is very important. Not every business is going to get venture capital because it's just not a venture backable business. That doesn't mean you have a bad business. It just means that's not the right type of money for your business. And there's so much literacy required around the types of money you actually need to secure investment, which is one of the things we try to drive throughout various initiatives as well. So number one, understanding what kind of capital you need. And once you've decided, really building a solid business.
Where do you find that? Like just Google it?
Well,
ChatGPT?
there are communities such as
Collage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got his link here in the bio. So guys, message him on LinkedIn. Or do you want to increase the followers on Instagram? Guys, Instagram? Yeah, if you could see
there are communities that exist. Things like the Wade Institute of Entrepreneurship run an incredible program called the VC Catalyst Program. StartMate is one of the country's major accelerator programs. That Startup Bootcamp, Archangel Investment Venture, Angel Syndicate. But you have to also actively be part of these communities. Sadly, you can't be what you can't see. This is a very close friend of mine who's gone and done it right. People aren't going to know about you if you're not seen amongst them.
Yep.
And then just get as much exposure as possible. That's when you can have the conversation. Is that the right kind of capital for my business, or is it not? And if it is, do you know anyone who has that kind of money to invest in my business?
Yes.
Bootstrapping, if you can, the best way to build a business. The businesses we back, more often than not, are bootstrap businesses, because even with the lack of capital, those founders have found ways to build their businesses and get them to it.
No, I was saying that's what I did. It's hard.
Don't take anyone's
It's
money.
potentially slower too.
Yeah.
Usually slower.
Yeah, when it's worth
build a
it.
solid business because
Yeah.
you do it in and out.
Yeah.
And then if you are raising capital, make sure that you have a proposition that makes business sense. It's great to want to save the world. It's great to have the next but it's great to have the next great AI thing. We get so many pitch decks every week, every day. If you're solving a problem and no one else can solve that problem the way you are, and people you're solving it for genuinely want that problem solved for them, you will find your money.
Yep.
But don't not do that. Don't retrofit a problem to a solution you've come up with because you think it's cool. That's not going to get funding. It never has, it never will. That's not how investing works. And then just be ready for rejection. You will get rich. Melanie Perkins got more than 100 VCs saying no to her, and now there's not a single VC on the planet that wanted to knock on her to try get exposure to Canada.
Yep, true.
And yes, these things sound easier said than done, and they are. But if you're going to start a business and you're going to want to raise capital, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Prepared for it.
Yeah.
And that helps build you up to, you know what, I did this. And at every set of the game, I've had to do this. I've struggled in raising capital for my own business. And it's like, okay, how do I get it to the next milestone? What do I do to get it to the next one? And now we're in the case where we can acquire other businesses. And we are. And we're trying to help other businesses. But you can't do that if you give up and if you feel, it's hard to raise capital, or I can't get venture capital, I can't get institutional capital. And there will be challenges.
Yep.
Solve them. That's why you're a founder. That's why you started a business, to solve a problem.
I feel it sounds cool that I'm a founder, but it's like a whole journey that goes. Yeah, it's like whoosh, and then again down. So it's like always going down, but you have to pull yourself up. So as an investor yourself, what's your advice or what's your thought on this?
I back the founder.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I believe and trust and see this grit, and if I just trust that they've got, all the energy it is to give something, I'm behind them 100%.
Yeah.
In any way that I can be, not just funding.
Yeah.
Right? Just in any way that I can support someone who is driven to do something.
Yeah.
That has got the right motive. I'm always behind them.
How do people find these kind of people?
I don't get pitch decks every week, so I don't know what he's doing because that sounds fun. Mine's more just through my network.
Guys, I'll put her LinkedIn. Send her pitch decks to her. She's paying for more.
Also, if the founder's neurodivergent, they're probably going to be a
Oh.
It's just a trait.
If they're what, sorry?
They're neurodivergent.
What's a neurodivergent?
Did you?
I knew it. Oh, I do. I didn't know it earlier. I had asked him. He's the one who knew. You said big terms and both of us are like, what is this?
No, it's really good actually. You're educating us on podcast.
I don't know to be education with Arj.
I'm not. Please, God, no. Cishet brown man mansplaining is not something that
Wait, tell us what neurodivergent is.
Someone who is not neurotypical, which means they don't go through the world as easily. So someone with ADHD, someone with ADD, someone on the spectrum, someone with autism, anyone on the neurodivergent.
People who can't just think, they not think one thing. They're thinking like multiple things.
Yeah, they've done studies on this where most founders have some level of neurodivergence because they see the world in a different way.
Are you thinking something still?
I'm just thinking I probably have all of those. It's a journey, right?
It is a journey. You will never get to where we want to get. It's always chasing. Imposter syndrome will keep fucking going, but you've got to keep going.
These days I've been seeing a lot about imposter syndrome all over social media. What are your thoughts on imposter syndrome?
It's a good thing. It's horrible to go through.
Oh yeah, first, before we dive, what do you think about it? Can one of you, Sim, can you explain what imposter syndrome is? Because I'm not sure if everyone knows what imposter. I didn't know before I came across all these reels, and I'm like, it's interesting to see what it is. So, what is imposter syndrome?
It's feeling like you don't deserve to be somewhere that you are. So, if you're in a room full of amazing people, from your perspective, you just feel like you're being an imposter, that you shouldn't be there. Or if you're doing something amazing, or you get an amazing award, or you make a certain amount of money and you don't think you should really be getting it, you don't think you deserve it, that's you having imposter syndrome.
Oh, okay. And what are your thoughts on imposter syndrome? Because I've seen a lot of people talking about it off lately, TikTok or Instagram, everywhere. So what are your thoughts on it?
I think Mike Cannon, he started it up. I think Mike Cannon did a TED Talk on her. He's the founder of Atlassian.
And sorry, but where the hell do you get so much time? You're always at networking events. You're watching these podcasts. You're doing something. You have a business. You have a corporate job.
I get asked this question a lot. I genuinely don't have an answer other than.
Do you sleep?
I struggle to. I do. I try.
Sorry, we continue the podcast.
So he's done, and it's like that man has changed the world, and he has imposter syndrome and talks about it. That's just an indication of it doesn't matter where you are on your journey, you're always going to feel that, and it's actually fuel for you to keep going. It's where you feel like fake, like, have I even done anything? Do I even, why am I here? I'm not. But if you take a step back and you try to reflect on yourself, and you're like, actually, yes, I did start that business. Yes, I did do that for that person. Oh, holy shit. I recently had this moment. I was at Global Citizen in March. I think it was in Melbourne. Have you guys heard of Thank You? They used to make bottled water.
Oh, yes.
And they
have everything. Yes.
Cleaning stuff in all the supermarkets. The founder of Thank You, Daniel Flynn, wrote a book called Chapter 1, and we outlines everything. That man is my hero. The way his mission is to end global poverty by creating a fully a business that every cent goes back to every cent of the
Like
profit goes
Patagonia.
to supporting and alleviating poverty around the world, and he's actually done that. Somehow, very grateful. I was in a room with this man. And I was just staring at him. Oh, what the fuck am I doing in this room? How do I go up to him? Do I say hello to him? And he was just the chillest guy ever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's all right. How's it going? I gave this man a hug. I'm like, can I please give you a hug? He's like, and at the end of the day, and my board tells me this every day as well, they're also people. We hold people up on pedestals. As human beings, it's very easy for us to do that.
Yep.
And that also drives our imposter syndrome because like, oh, we're not good enough.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. But you are. You're on your own timeline. I should really listen to my own advice sometimes. My friends are going to watch like, what the we Kelly, you little piece of shit.
You know, as you're talking, I'm like, shit, I feel like that all the time.
And it's fine because it's fair. We're humans. Emotions are hard.
Yeah.
They're part and parcel of us.
Yeah.
And we can let it get, it's like Rafiki said in The Lion King.
Yep.
We can either run from it or learn from it.
Yep.
If we keep learning from it, we keep growing.
Yep. True.
I'm going to shut up. I talk too much.
I love that. That's totally fine. But no, I related. I whatever you said, I felt like I feel that way. I'll give you an example. The networking event that we were together. Remember the small intimate one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were out there and I was like, oh my God, these people are just too amazing. And why the hell have I been called for it?
You wouldn't be in the room if you weren't.
I didn't, but I felt like I don't deserve to be there. But at the end, what happened, one of the person working there, I always wear my Humans of Australia t-shirt. So that person's like, are you, so he's like, yes, Sarah Singh Tak from Humans of Australia. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm like, how do you know my full name? He's like, oh, I've been following you since so long. I was like, damn, man. Nice.
Oh my God.
I like, someone knew my full name. I was like, wow, damn. Like, people know me. Yeah. People do know you. Yeah, good. My Instagram is very different than my LinkedIn, but yeah.
Just take a moment.
Yeah, sometimes I go back home and I'm like, okay, I've done something. I at least took a step to do like, okay, guys, I'm famous. I'm an influencer.
Clap for yourself.
Oh, thanks. Anyway, Simran, what are your thoughts on imposter syndrome? Do you feel it sometimes?
I think I used to a lot. And I've been part of a couple of organizations when, you know, the founders have got, you know, multi-million-dollar businesses and they've all gone through it and some of them still do. I think it also comes down to your sense of self. I have worked on this for a couple of years. And so there isn't a room that I can't walk into where I don't feel like I can hold a conversation. I think it also comes down to being very comfortable with the fact that you're not going to be the smartest person in the room, the best looking in the room, the tallest in the room, whatever it might be. When you can just accept that and be very comfortable with that, you can be in any room.
Yeah,
you can be. And so for me, I think it was more, you know, it plays on an aspect of insecurity when you're starting out and you just aren't sure how to navigate. But once you come to feel very comfortable with the fact that you're never going to be the best at everything, ever, there's always going to be someone that's going to be better at you in some way. It becomes very comforting. You can go in there and learn something from every single person and they can, you know, even the smartest person in the world, they can learn something from you.
And having that mindset of learning from people, like constantly wanting to learn. That insecurity piece is hard. I struggle with this bit. I'm not going to lie, I'll be vulnerable. When you walk in the room, you carry yourself so well. You're an incredibly confident woman. I would intimidated. I'm like,
yeah. When I met her for the first time also, I was intimidated. But then when I spoke down, like,
and
I was like, I want to be that strong that, like, I'm not saying that people should be intimidated by me. You know, someone told me the other day that my LinkedIn profile picture.
I was like, oh my God, this girl would never talk to me, even as a friend. And now you publish stuff about it. Like, oh my God. It's hard.
No.
We just box ourselves in it.
Yeah, probably we just box ourselves and it's fine. Like, I think one question that came to my mind, how do you overcome it? You said over the years you worked on yourself. What did you do to work on yourself? Like, what can people do to work on themselves?
So I'll give you an example. So when I started off and I joined a lot of communities, and it was a very big and hard thing for my whole friendship group, my whole family to accept that I'd left the corporate world because I'd come from a very good Indian girl job at EY in consulting. And my grandparents were so proud of me. And I don't think that, I don't even say loudly that I've left still today because it's still very hard for a lot of people to be proud of someone that's trying to do something unconventional. And when you come from a traditional mindset where there is one path to what looks good, I can understand why that's uncomfortable for them. I really can. But that hasn't stopped me regardless. So I think when I left that, and you touched on earlier, I lost a lot of friends in that period of time. A lot of people didn't respect my decisions. A lot of people didn't understand why I would leave a well-paying job. A lot of people didn't understand why I would, burn that pathway to partner. And I had no interest in being partner. And a lot of people were just like, how are you going to do this? How are you going to make this happen? You're crazy. What are you doing? And I'm going to be building this. I'm going to be turning over this. I'm going to be talking here. I've got my plan, right? And I've moved towards it. But when you first talk to people and you also hear other people's plans of what they want to do, it can be very intimidating. It can be a lot. And so when you're in the room with people that have actually done it, that have gotten there, it's very easy to feel like I shouldn't be in your presence. Like you've made it to there. I'm still here. I should talk to you when I'm over there. Yeah. Why am I talking to you now? And all I've learned in that is that two things. Firstly, the people over there want to help you. They want to talk to you. They actually wish more people talk to them because they don't want to keep talking to people over there. Yeah. It's not fun for them. That's not fun for them. Right. And so that's the first thing, is that actually just removing the assumption that, you shouldn't be there and that people don't want to hear you, because they do. The second thing I think is that, going back to that aspect of sense of self, the minute you are just very accepting of where you're at, that you can't compare yourself. I used to compare my turnover to my friends and go, wow, you're turning over $1 million. Why am I not turning over $1 million? Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, right? I'm not good enough. But, there's so much difference, whether it's a different type of business, resources, timing, the person, the industry. Yeah, right. True. You don't know what's happening in that business. You don't know what's happening in that person's life. You don't know what anyone's story is, right? Yeah. So the minute that you're able to remove yourself and just take a step back and think everyone's kind of got their own thing going on, everyone's coming from a very different set of cards. Yeah. Right. I think that it's very possible to walk into any atmosphere or any environment and hold your own.
I think based on what both of you have said, it's a thing that you build over time, for sure. It's over time, meeting people, doing things, and it changes you and you learn a lot.
I don't think it's ever going to go. It's a constant work.
Yeah, I agree.
As we all are.
Yeah.
In every aspect. So we've got to accept that.
Yeah.
And those people, like Sim said, they want to talk to you. They want to help.
Yeah.
They're people.
Yeah.
And they're also human beings living life for the first time.
They are humans of Australia.
Yeah.
Aha.
Oh, thanks guys for putting the branding in, but that was nice. No. Okay. Last question. What is an advice that you would like to give South Asians in Australia who are planning to start their business or have just started their business? What's an advice from two amazing founders?
Just go and do it.
Is it that easy?
Find a way. Go and do it. Just go and do it.
I agree.
There are people who will help.
Yep.
Go and do it.
Yep.
What about you? I don't believe in giving advice, but I can experience share.
Yep.
And I think for me, I'm very conscious of missing opportunities. So my mantra is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take every single shot. Even if you know it's not going to work, you'll learn.
Yeah.
I think speaking to, especially women and more specifically South Asian women, there are going to be a lot of things where you're going to make a lot of excuses and people around you are going to make a lot of reasons why you shouldn't try something.
Yeah.
Go and try it.
Yeah.
Right. So, for me, there's 50 reasons why in the next 10 years I should be married and have kids and, be focusing on certain things. That hasn't stopped me from planning the next 10 years of my business.
Yeah, true.
I agree. So, Yeah. To what he says, it's pretty much just backing up that.
Yeah. And a little thing that I would like to add to what you said is obviously go do it, but also you should put yourself out there. Like be open to putting yourself out there, talking to people, even if you're the dumbest person and you don't know how to talk to people. But I think eventually when you keep on going, you'll talk to one person, you'll talk for 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes will become 1 hour. You never know. And that's how, and you learn, or I feel personally that I have learned a lot by talking to people, even if it's the smallest thing, like, putting a hashtag or putting something like that. It's just so much learning, and it's great to learn from others.
It's okay to not know what you're doing.
Yeah.
What it does.
Yeah, true. Agree. All right. Any other insights or things that you want to add, guys?
I like what Sarah said. Just have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Make play your work and your work.
True. Agreed. I agree. Like,
Because you'll enjoy doing it.
yeah. I agree. Like I love creating content, and I'm just creating so much content that it gets overworked up. But it's so much fun, like talking to people like you, and we're just like, it's a normal candid conversation, and it's so nice. Agreed. When you do what you love, have you watched that movie, 3 Idiots?
Yes.
In that he says that thing, what's his dialogue? Like it's the dialogue that if you do what you love,
Well, work
like,
a day.
yeah, you won't work a day. It's easy, blah, blah, blah.
100%.
Yeah, it you have to work, and it is going to be shit. But it is also nice, like by the end of it, like you just look back.
Yeah.
It is something like, okay, like I've done something, and it's nice. Yeah, I enjoy it. So that's the thing. Anything else? Oh, we're good for the rapid fire.
Let's go for rapid fire.
I was here about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Just keep make it count. Fill your cup.
So much of, I think, personal branding comes from networking. And networking, you only form genuine connections when you are genuine in wanting to root for someone.
Yeah.
It's very easy for people to tell if you don't want to. It's very easy. If I sat down and had coffee with you and didn't think that you were rooting for me and I was rooting for you, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, true.
But there was so much genuine want to help each other. Friendship is there.
Yep.
Right? And so I think that, 100% that it's don't just go in with the mindset, everyone's going to help me get up there. It's, I'm also going to elevate.
Yep.
Even if they're 10 times higher than me.
Yeah.
We're all going to keep, grabbing each other and moving up.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was the society mindset, the way they were brought up. So I don't blame them for whatever they did, but now it's changed.
change it. If you can, even the smallest thing,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
We can do better. We can do better than what we're doing.
We are doing better. I have 2 amazing South Asian founders out here, literally giving me a dime on a weekday, and that's amazing. So you're helping me. So thanks, guys.
Pleasure, babe.
So now anything else before I go to the rapid fire?
No, ready.
Ready. Okay. This is your rapid fire hamper. It's the Anchor Cookie Co hamper.
Oh, wow.
Of Australia.
Great.
So
You ain't getting it.
I'm going to try.
no, but it's don't worry, guys. It's easy. I'll start with an easy
Eat
one.
it and run. Can I just go walk out
Sure,
now?
you'll be able to run through all of the obstacles, but yeah,
I'm trippy with my heels.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. I'll start off with the easiest question, okay, guys, and it's quick.
Who's starting?
I'll start.
Ready to go.
So I'll start with you, but it's like I ask you a question, then you're like, "What's your name?" Sim, then you give this thing. So easy. What's your favorite cafe?
Gilson.
Oh. Okay, Code Black.
Oh, I love Code Black's hot chocolate. If for 24 hours you could make one thing for $1, what would it be?
He's starting, right?
Yeah, you're starting.
Oh shit.
Guys,
A
rapid.
bracelet.
It's really sad. You're going in minus points for winning the hand, but okay.
Money printing machine.
Oh,
I was gonna say that. Oh my god. Wow.
I like them. Guys, what do you like? Put it down in the comments. What is an expensive thing that you own that isn't worth the money?
My Dior bag.
My Louis Vuitton belt.
All these branded stuff. Would you rather be liked or respected?
Respected.
Okay. What is the most overrated thing about Australia?
The beaches.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
No, I need a different answer. I don't want answer going.
Kangaroo.
Wildlife.
You're not supposed
Oh,
to.
sorry.
The koalas.
I get points for supporting.
Not koalas.
What is this so cute? What's the overrated thing?
Pies.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pies.
Good one.
I'll give a better one than both of y'all. The touristy spots. There's only nature. There isn't like if someone dies to Australia, I feel there isn't any touristy spots to go except nature.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like only Sydney has the Sydney Opera Bridge and like the opera and the Harbour
We
Bridge.
have the shrine.
Wow.
I don't think that compares to the Harbour Bridge. But
Yeah.
Okay, we have the Faulty Bridge because it's tall.
I'd still say that doesn't compare
She's
to
a
the
Sydney
Harbour
side. It started the Melbourne-Sydney war now. This is not going to go very well.
Bridge. Definitely
I'm gonna
This is not
add another question.
Yeah.
Melbourne or Sydney?
Melbourne.
Melbourne or Sydney?
Sydney.
Jesus Christ. Sim, you had to do that. Oh,
Okay. Small Australian brands that should be viral.
Ooh.
cool.
I can take time to think about this one. I'll give it to you.
You wait. It's simple.
No, I'm thinking. This is necessary.
Sing Studios. Glowy by Her.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. No,
Done.
you can go.
Did you say 3?
No, like what?
I gave you 2.
Yeah.
One is Aussie brand that should be viral.
Small Australian brand.
I'd say thank you, but I think they're already viral.
That's not a small Australian. I'm
Alright,
talking
okay.
small, like really small. Get it?
The cookie place on Flinders Lane.
Anchor Cookie.
I forgot what it's called.
It's got Anchor amazing cookies.
All that. Okay.
Okay, you didn't give a good answer. You're just so proud.
Honest, clearly stuff on.
I have a lot more, but I won't spam.
It's fine.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. Hook up with a coworker or no?
Fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Be dangerous.
Complete the sentence. Things hot people have. Dash dash dash. Complete the sentence.
A good body. A societally approved good body. Or
Things are hot. Can you say that again? Things hot people have. Like sexy hot people have.
Nice car.
Nice car. Yeah.
a good watch.
You could
Watch.
They're small guys, but yeah.
Yeah. That's not even in not hot. I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Message for overthinking entrepreneurs. Any like
I have one. I don't have one.
Don't think, just do.
Yep, true. One big mistake startups make when reaching out to investors.
I expected them to write you a check on the first call.
Yeah.
It's a hard one. I haven't reached out.
But
Maybe going for investors that are typical and not trying to reach out to smaller people that might be more related in your mission.
Okay, interesting. And that's it for a rapid fire round. Both of y'all did do only very like average is what I'd say, but you did worse than average.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Simran, this handle is for you. Thank you.
well done. Well
Guys,
done.
tell me in the comments below, who do you think is the winner? We can
Thanks.
share it.
We've done the founder thing. We're splitting the winners.
Okay, so, but anyway, thank you, Sim and Arj, for being here. It was truly unfiltered and it was truly candid. Thank you.